You know, hardly a day ever passes but that a minister, a pastor, doesn't have the privilege of helping someone in the difficult but exciting business of making a life decision. Since there are all kinds of people, then there are all kinds of situations and all kinds of decisions to be made. For instance, there was a young doctor's wife, Catherine Talley, who's having a very hard time being a real member of her family because of one of these important decisions. Oh, actually, the Talleys aren't so young anymore. After all, Dr. Talley had 8 years of school and then his intern work and a stretch in the Army Medical Corps. But all that was finished now, and he was facing a very real test as to how he would use the fine skills which he had learned as a medical student. If he'd been the only one involved, there would have been no problem. He knew what he wanted to do with his life. He wanted to devote it to medical research in the area of the human heart. But Catherine, well, that's our story. Catherine was ambitious, and she dearly loved material things. And in order to get those things, she wanted her husband to take a position in her uncle's well-established medical clinic. As she confessed their problem to me, it seemed that they were growing farther and farther apart. There was John Talley, the young research doctor, who wanted to tinker with human hearts, and Catherine, his ambitious wife, who had a consuming passion for possessions.
We've got to decide, Catherine. I can't live in the state of indecision any longer.
We?
I hope it can be we. It's your life, too. I've so wanted you to see my side that maybe I haven't tried hard enough to understand what you want.
Let's face the facts, John. Where would we live?
Oh, I don't know yet. But other men and their families have done all right. There are lots of apartments right near the foundation.
Another apartment. And where would the baby play? He's getting big enough now to need a yard.
There are playgrounds. Look, Kathy, this isn't necessarily for life. Maybe later. Especially if I'm able to do what I think I can do, we can move.
But you've lost so much time already. Those years in the Army. We're getting old.
I may look it, but you don't, honey.
You infuriate me. Why must you be so casual?
I don't think I am. But, okay, let's get serious. Tell me what you want me to do.
I want you to take that partnership in Uncle Wilson's clinic.
Why? Tell me why.
Because it pays 3 times as much money as that old foundation job.
Why do you want 3 times more money?
What a stupid question. You know why.
No. I don't think I do. Tell me why.
Because I want a home. All my own. A big house. And I want a car and a maid and a mink stole. If you want a list, I'll make you one.
And these things mean more to you than for me to help perfect the new heart release for blue babies?
You make the choice seem pretty selfish, don't you?
We're being truthful with each other, remember?
All right. Yes. They are more important to me.
What can we do, Kathy? You see, I feel that this research is so very important.
I know that work has to be done, but why do you have to do it? Why can't somebody else?
I don't have all the answers, Kathy. But I've got this compelling drive inside me, and I'll never be happy if I don't follow it.
Why can't you have a drive to make money like other men have?
Couldn't talk this over. How can I explain it? It isn't that having lots of things isn't good. It is. But if I'm going to make the biggest decision of my life solely on the basis of how much money's in it for me, then that's my standard of values from now on.
But, John, everybody else judges things by money values. If we aren't going to accept that, we might as well go live on some South Sea island. John, please.
Then there's a money value on everything. Friends, work, business. You really believe that, don't you? Catherine, I love you. But you make some things very hard for me.
And so Catherine Talley came to see me. She admitted she didn't quite know why. Perhaps it was that she didn't know where else to go for help. Or perhaps she felt that something was wrong with her own attitude. I don't really know. But after briefing me on what had happened, she asked a question which indicated to me that she felt some concern over her share in their marriage crisis.
What's wrong with my loving pretty, expensive things, Dr. Goodrich?
Loving them or wanting them?
All right. What's wrong with my wanting them?
Depends upon what you have to pay for them, doesn't it?
We could afford them if John would accept this wonderful clinic offer.
Yes, but what sort of interest would you have to pay in addition to the money you spend?
Interest? Why, none. The money would be ours.
Is money ever really interest-free?
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Lots of people don't. But whatever the earning of money takes out of you, that's what it's costing you, isn't it? What would it cost John Talley to give up his medical research?
He'd certainly be unhappy. For a while, at least.
How can you be so certain it's just for a while?
We get used to things in time.
Outwardly, yes, and trivial things, yes. But you're tampering with a man's dreams. Can you afford to do that?
But that's just the trouble with John. He dreams too much. He ought to come down to earth.
Often our dreams reflect the ideals that we have, the kind of life we want, the kind of world we want. For John Talley, that ideal is a world free of the tragedy of heart disease. That ideal pulls him on, gives purpose to his life.
I see. But, Dr. Goodrich, even if I do give in to John, why must I feel so resentful about it, so cheated?
Could it be that you're worshiping a false god?
What does God have to do with this?
Everything. As a man's God is, so is he. Whatever has first place in our life, that becomes our God.
I'm afraid I never gave God a thought.
The kind of God to whom we give our allegiance determines all our values and the choices that we make.
And my God?
Is material possessions. Not that they are not good to have and to appreciate, they are. But when the desire to possess them overshadows every other value in life, then material things become a false god.
It's going to take a lot of unraveling to change me.
Changing gods is a major operation.
Thank you for listening to me, Dr. Goodrich. You still haven't told me what to do about John.
No, but I think when you decide what to do about God, you'll know what to do about your husband.
Thank you again. Goodbye.
Could it be that you're worshiping a false god? Whatever has first place in our life, that becomes our God.
And my God? John, hello.
Hello, Kathy. Well, let's go out to dinner tonight. Mother said she'd take care of the baby. I just heard there's a new steakhouse open on the old Sawmill Road.
What did you do today?
Today? Oh, any number of things. Finished some reports. Spent too much time with an old man. I couldn't help, I guess. Oh, yes, I wired the foundation to count me out.
You've decided against the foundation job?
Yes. Tomorrow we drive up to your uncle's clinic to see about that opening. That is what you wanted me to do, isn't it?
I don't know.
You don't know? Catherine, this is no time for joking.
I'm not joking. I know I don't make sense to you.
I certainly don't, dear.
John, is it too late for you to accept the foundation job?
No, I Suppose I could call long distance. I don't understand.
Why couldn't I have married a materialist?
Will you please tell me what's happened, Kathy?
Well, I've got to think a lot more about it, and I'm going to need some help. But I'm changing gods.
Changing gods?
Yes, I'm going to get rid of a false god. John, call the foundation and tell them you're going to accept their offer. Now, right now.
Hello, operator. Give me long distance. The Marshall Foundation, New Bristol.
And so the Tallies saved their home. But not until Catherine was willing to face the fact that she was following a false god. Catherine loved material possessions, the things money can buy. Not that there's anything wrong with having them or loving them or wanting them. But Catherine went further than that. She so loved material possessions and so concentrated her attention upon getting them that for a while it seemed that she was blind to all other values in life. Material possessions came first for her and were therefore her God. But now the love of material possessions is not the only false god. A desire for pleasure or power or popularity can become a false god which can ruin a home or a marriage or a life. I wonder if you have ever faced the fact of what really comes first in your life and is therefore your God. Remember what I said to Catherine? The God to whom we give our allegiance determines our values and becomes the basis for all the choices that we make in life. You know, the church is the only institution completely dedicated to helping us to find and keep in our life the right God, the one true God. The church helps us to find and keep His Spirit in our life, helps us to put Him first in our life. You know, I think the first commandment is involved here. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. And Jesus took the words of the first commandment and gave them positive statement when He said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you."